So now I'm recording. So yesterday we started follow, right? Can anyone hear me?
Yes, sir, we can hear you, sir.
Okay. I said yesterday we started follow.
Yes, sir, that's right.
Yeah, has anyone been able to crack the code challenges in the classroom?
Yeah, I tried to do it yesterday, so I think I've got
What
it
about,
there
what about
also.
the one that asked questions about number 7 yesterday?
Yeah, I'm the one that asked the question.
So have you been able to solve it?
Yes, sir, I think I've done it. I've solved it.
Yeah, it's not that difficult. Just
Okay.
Yeah, I'm glad you're able to solve it. So you've completed the code challenge. I'm going to open submission tomorrow by God's grace.
Okay, sir, no problem. Yeah, I'm done with my own.
Okay. So how about the rest of us?
I've started my been able to
What
finish
did
it
you
up
say?
to. I said I've started mine too, and I've been able to complete. I think five. I'm working on the sixth one, and the rest will follow. Maybe by tomorrow, I should be able to finish.
Okay, that's impressive too. That's impressive. So let's just completed the other part of the for loop and move to list.
Okay, that's good.
Okay, sir.
Oh, I think did we complete it yesterday? We spoke about break statement, continuous statement. Did I talk about the range function? Did I talk about range yesterday?
Yeah, you said something about when like four in range of something. Mhm.
Okay, that's nice. So that means the all we just have to do is the same thing like the else statement for incoming place. I need to admit someone. So now we want to talk about the else statement for loop.
Okay.
So speaking of else statement in for loop, just the same way we wrote else statement for our if condition and our while loop. So it's just more of when we when we write our condition, we want to put an else to it. Take for instance now, we want to say for I in why is my keyboard like this today? For I in range 182. What was that? So you can say if I equals 4, You can tell it to break, and tell it to print I, and you can put else. You can tell it to print finished. Do you know why it's returning this? Because do you know why it's returning just why it's printing just finished? Some of these are the law.
No, I don't know.
Mm,
I'm listening.
Because there's no four. Sorry. This is not on the list.
I didn't get that. Let's think of the possible.
I was about to say something, but later I changed what I wanted to say. Like what I wanted to say, I don't think it's valid. So that's why I stopped talking. But at the same time, I think I should speak up. I don't think there's nothing called irrelevant answer. So far, I can still say, mm, if this is a list, I would have said it's because there is no four in the list. But this is not in the list, so I don't know. I don't know what that is, and you don't have the four in the range, so I don't really know what. Thinking.
Can you see the difference now? Can you see the difference now? It's because it's
okay,
because
probably because of,
it's because of where the print statement is. That's why I said if you put your print statement in the wrong place, it can be a potential error.
okay.
So that's this is how to use else. Now we can also have a nested loop. You can have a loop, a while loop, sorry, a for loop inside a for loop or a while loop inside a while loop.
Sorry, before you proceed, I have a question on the first code you wrote.
Okay, please go.
The first one you said for I in range 8, if I is equivalent to 4 break. So that means because you use only 8, when we get to 4, the code will stop running. But for the first one, when you wrote range 1, comma 8, comma 2, because you gave it different values, that's why it's giving us, that's why it is printing finished, right?
No, 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 no. It's because of where I put my. It's because of where the. Can you say?
Okay.
Yeah, it's because of where the print statement was. That's why it returned. If I return the under break, it's going to return only finished.
Okay.
So exactly.
Okay.
Do you get it now?
Yes, I get it.
Yeah, I'm glad. So speaking of nested loop is more like a loop inside another loop. Does that make any sense to anyone?
Yes, just
Okay, say you have names, like say you have first names. I don't know why my keyboard is doing this tonight. But you can have a list of first name, Luis. So you can have last name. This is slow tonight. You can have last name and you can have, okay, let me use Adeleke. So what you can do is you can say for first name in first names, and you now insert another for loop and say for last name in last name. You can tell you what to do. You can say print first name, comma, last name. That's what it's going to do. Thanks, sir. Do you see what it's going to do? So it's going to take the first name here and pair it with all the last name. Also take the second name here, pair it with all the last names. Then take the third name here, pair it with all the last names. So that's what you use. Like that's how you use nested loop. And also we can have the past statement for, for this also. The same way we have the past statement for if and we have past statement for while loop, we can have past statement for this too. And that takes us to the end of loops. So if there's anything under loop that you think you don't understand yet, I actually wanted to throw out some assessment on if on conditional statement and maybe some on while loop, but then I realized that most people are not have not even started the ones that I give out on variables. So that's why I decided to hold back a bit. Wait, is it that the assignments are too much or you guys are not going with the desired tempo? Please, I need responses. Because ideally, I'm supposed to dish out
For
assignments
my
every day after every class.
for my own here, you see, I would say it is because I have a lot I'm doing at a time that regards to Python. I have like there is a chunk of work that I'm trying to like look through every now and then. So I pen some assignments, do some assignments. Like today now, I stopped all other assignments. Then I was doing that. I was doing the one we give out or on the 2 days ago. So it's something like that. Like on my own end, though.
So, from your end, do you think I should reduce the assignments I give, or I should just keep giving assignments, then with people at the end of the week?
Mm, the thing is,
Because the only
a,
way
me-
you
a
can
measure
verify your knowledge of
a
whatever.
measure of how well we are doing comes from how we answer the assignment. So I wouldn't say the assignment should be reduced. The only thing I would say is just that instead of having assignments at the end of probably every class, it should be maybe after two classes, then the combination of those classes become in an assignment, not one a class now an assignment, another class an assignment. That is, I cannot the assignments. I cannot say they are too much because we only increase our knowledge or a test of what you can use to measure how well we cope in classes and all is from the assignments we are doing. So I wouldn't say the assignments are too much. I only say there should be a little space in between for receiving another one, or probably combination of series of classes into one assignment. Then the assignment cannot be for.
Okay, I'll just do that because basically the only way to solidify your knowledge is through having like these code challenges. So they will help you. They would take you from where you are to another level on the course. See now, I'm just explaining the syntax and I'm explaining what is it that is behind it. But then when you want to solve a challenge, that's when you deploy some of the knowledge that you've acquired. Take for instance now, see this one that we solved yesterday now. Like it's not as if there is anything we've not covered. This one, this particular one, it's not as if there is anything we did not cover in class here. But then it requires you to just be able to just go about it in some ways and combine the knowledge that you gathered in class with some personal problem solving skills to get it done. And maybe a combination of 2 to 3 topics sometimes you might need it. You see the assessment I will be giving out now, it's going to combine your knowledge of variables, it's going to combine your knowledge of if statement, and it's going to combine your knowledge of maybe while loop and for loop. Now, by the time now we want to start covering lists. So by the time we are done with list, it's still going like the assignments I'll be giving out will combine like you combine your knowledge of everything we've done up to list. So that's just the way we want to get it done. Such that by the end of the boot camp, you would know that yes, you've achieved something. So that's why it's not as if I really just want to be dishing out assignments. Because basically the plan is we would have some live sessions where we'll cover the assessment that I'm giving out, and we'll be able to just solve them together in class, especially for people that do not understand. But at least I want you to try it out yourself first. So I would like to more like should I say encourage and urge every one of us that we should really pay attention to these assignments because they are meant to help you sharpen your Python skills. So now let's go to Python
Can
now.
I say something, sir?
Yes, yes, go ahead, go ahead.
Sir, please, I need your help.
Go ahead, sir.
Yes. The textbook or the workbook or the challenge code book where you get these challenges, please, or something like that. Can I lay hands on it?
There are quite a lot of code challenges on anything, Python or variable or anything. Just set your line up and it's going to bring it for you.
Okay, like code challenges on Python.
Maybe whatever topic
Your
you
this
want to
right?
solidify your name, your solidify your knowledge.
Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Sorry, an observation.
Okay.
You said you were going to upload the videos for the last two classes yesterday, but then I've not seen it on the classroom.
Yeah, I'm very sorry. I really had a very long day, kind of, and I was quite away from keyboard for the majority part of today. But then I will do it like maybe tomorrow morning because I'll upload everything against tomorrow morning.
All right. Thank you very much.
All right.
Hello, sir. Quickly, please. Quickly,
Okay.
please.
Okay.
Um, NEPA just took light where I am, and my laptop is plug and play. It will soon die. So I'm going to join with my phone right now. So I just want to let you know beforehand.
Okay. All right. That's fine.
Yes, sir.
So now let's talk about lists. List. So basically, when you say list, you are basically talking about like you are trying to store a multiple items in a single variable. That's basically what you do with list. You want to, take for instance now for variable when I say my name, you take only my name. If I decide to put another one, comma, and put my surname, it's not supposed to take this from me. It's converting it itself. But basically, it's not supposed to a variable is supposed to take only a single variable, only a single value. Why is it? This is not supposed to be correct. Why is it correct? It's correct. It's still finding it correct. Okay, it wants to join. If that wants to join. This is not supposed to be correct because the rule is whatever you have on the right side has to be the same thing as what you have on the left side. But then maybe because I've used a lot of my name, let me try another variable. What variable name can I use? Okay, animal. Also lion. Then maybe let me say lion. Then let me add tiger too. Okay, still returning this withdrawal though. So, but basically, a list is used to store multiple items in a single variable. And like I said that we have like kind of like should I say containers, and this is one the first of the major containers we'll be talking about. Like we have four of them. The first one is list, like I said. The second one is going to be tuple. The third one we'll be talking about is set, and this one, the last one is going to be dictionary. So we'll be talking about these four, and would get to apply all the knowledge that of everything we've gathered together on these four, like on all these containers. And after that, we'll talk about Python functions. So basically, going back to list, you can create a list using a square bracket. So whatever, like, if you want to turn this to a list now, okay, let me check what is the type of animal type animal. Let me see what's going to bring. Okay, it's returning it as a tuple, not as a variable. Do you see what I'm saying? Like I was not expecting it to I was not expecting it to return this. I was expecting to be an error, but I guess Jupyter Notebook has a way of just assuming that you are planning to write a tuple. Because when you want to write a tuple, you are supposed to have this to make it a tuple. So it's already assumed that it's a tuple. Okay, so I get it all now. So if you want to turn this to a list now, what you do is put your square bracket. Hope I'm not confusing us. Now let's check the type again. It's now a list. So we will create a list by using square bracket. So I can say print animals. It's going to print lion and tiger for us. Now, there, there is that here we need to take down some things because like it has some characteristics. Lists are actually like characteristics of lists is that are like we have about some of them that we have to note down. Like I said, lists are ordered. When we say something is ordered, okay, we'll talk about it. That's the first one, and we can change the content, changeable, and the last one is it allows you might not appreciate this so well now until we get to the rest of them. Take for instance now, let me tell you for tuple now, tuple does not allow you to change. Like you cannot once you define a tuple, you cannot change the content of a tuple. Take for instance, a set will not allow you to duplicate items. And take for instance now, a dictionary is not ordered. So by the time you are using all of them together, you need to know which one is what is the characteristics of what I'm doing. If you want to like use the concept of orderliness on what is it called on dictionary now, it's going to return an error for you and it's not going to work. If you are trying to duplicate an item in sets now, it's not going to work. If you are trying to change an out like an item in tuple, it's not going to work. So you need to really, really, really note down, okay, what are the characteristics of a list? The first one is that it is ordered, that is the first element, then the second element. Take for instance now, in our list, lion is the first element, tiger is the second element. Then it is changeable. You can change the tiger to something else, you can change the lion to something else, and the list will still be existing. And also it allows duplicate values that you can set to put another tiger there or another lion there. Do we get it now? Now let's talk about the ordered characteristics of a list. Like when we say that lists are ordered, it means that like we have a defined order that and that order will not change until we alter it. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say. If we add an element, another element to this our list animal now, it's going to come as the last one. So you can tell the list that give me the third element that you have in like the third element in you. So it's going to bring the third element. But if it is unordered, how do we know which one is the third? But because list has the characteristics of being ordered or the feature of being ordered, so it's easy for you to get that done. I don't know if anyone gets what I'm trying to say.
Like comic.
Do you want me to come again?
Yes.
Okay, that's fine. I said we have like characteristics. I now earlier I said we now have four containers like that we'll be talking about. The first of them is list, the other one is tuple, the third one is set, and the last one is dictionary. Now I now said each individual container has peculiar characteristics that you have to understand about them. The first one that we are talking about is list, and it has three characteristics. The first one is that it is ordered. The second one is that it is changeable, and the third one is that it allows duplicate values. Like, and I was trying to make instance that there are some of them that they do not allow one of these. Take for instance now, you cannot change a value in tuple. Once you define your tuple, then you've defined it. It's not going to change. Take for instance set, you cannot in set you cannot set does not allow multiple like duplicate values. You can't have two tiger in set. And the last one, which is dictionary, is that dictionary is unordered. That is, you can't tell dictionary to give you third element. It does not understand it. Now I'm trying to now break it down that what does it mean when we say list are ordered. And now what I'm trying to say is that it means that we have a defined order for it. That is, this is the first position, this is the second position, this is the third position. Take for instance now, in this our what is it called? In this our academy, we don't have that kind of position order that okay, this is the best student, this is the second. Do you get it? So it's not easy for us to say the third best student should come. But if it is somewhere that we already have something like a leaderboard where we have first like best, like the person first, second, third. So it's easy to say the second position should come up for a gift. But if I say the second position should come for a gift now, nobody would come out because you don't because it is not ordered. But when it is ordered now, when we have them ordered, we can say the second position should come and we'll be able to get somebody to come for it. Does that make any sense? Now for our
Yes,
animal
yes.
now, for our animal now, the lion is the first element, tiger is the second element. Basically, that's what orderliness means. Like the ordered what is it called? Means in list. Can I go ahead?
Yes, you can. Thank you.
There is something that we need to note here that there are some methods that can actually change the order, like with the ordered version of a list, but we just know that okay, the order of list will not change, like in general. So when we get there or when you encounter it in future, you can just say, "Oh, I said it." And when we say changeable, is you can change the content of we can change the content to something else. I really don't want to take us through it now. I would probably have changed it, but then we are going to talk about it in detail when we start talking about the methods. So I really don't want to take us too far. And it allows duplicate value. That is, you can put tiger twice, you can put lion twice, you can even put tiger 100 times and lion 100 times. List will take them and it's going to order them and it would allow you to be able to change them. Now, how do we check the length of a list? It's still the same thing as len animal. That's two. We have two elements, which is that's right. So, and I spoke about checking the type. We can check the type too. And now, speaking of the kind of data type that you can put in list, it can be any kind of data type. You can say my list equals to name, comma, 12, comma, true, comma, 17.5. If you tell it to list, we get now, it's going to take without complaining. And another thing you can do is you can say my list. There's something called list constructor. My list. You can use list, turn it to list, and say you need this a lot when what's wrong? Sorry, it takes a double bracket. This is not callable, but what are you telling me? It's not supposed to return an error from why oh sorry, it's because I've used list up here. Yes, so when I say my list now, it's going to return it. Why do you need to learn this list constructor is? Sometimes you have it in form of, you have your, what is it called, in form of a tuple. If I did not put this list there now, it's going to be a tuple. It's going to return a tuple for me. But then you can use this list to convert it to like this list constructor that I put in front to convert it into a list. That's why let me tell you something. Like, try to take a lesson from what happened now. Don't use all these received words in Python. Don't use them for your variable names. That's why it was returning error for me. I had to restart the kernel so that I can make it forget whatever it is that I've done before. Do you understand?
Yes.
So you can use this list constructor to convert like it from tuple to a list. If I just do this and I try to get it type, it's going to be a tuple. So to convert this tuple to a list, you need to use list constructor. It's not every time you have access to putting square brackets. So one, you can just cast it to be a list by just putting the list constructor. And this is the, what is it called for it? Please note that it takes two. It is list, like you are now going to pass your tuple inside this. So that's why we have a double square bracket and double parentheses.
Okay. Sorry, sir, please, I have a question, sir.
Please go ahead.
I want to ask the function of list constructor. Is it the main function is to convert tuple to list, or it has another function?
It can it basically it's meant to convert it, but then you can also use it to just define the list right from the beginning. But then that's just the major function. Or
Okay,
let me
sir.
say that I know of. You might get to,
Okay,
if you get some other ones, you might share with me too to expand my knowledge.
okay, sir.
So how do we now access the items that we have in our list? How do we access the items that we have in our list? So there is something we call index number. So you can access them by referring to their index number. Like I mentioned about index number, like when we started, I said index number start from zero. So for name now, it's going to be zero, 12 will be one, two will be two, and 17.5 will be three, right? Do you remember? So if I said my list and I tell it to print the second element, it's going to return 12. If I change it to three, it's going to return the fourth element. If I change it to six or four, out list index out of range, because we don't have any element with index number four. Do we get the concept of this index?
Yes, sir. We get
Yeah, I spoke about negative indexing too. If we can still remember, minus one will return what?
Minus one will return 17.5.
yes,
Exactly,
20.5. Yes.
17.5 from the back. I'm glad that people are following. Then I mentioned that we can have range of indexes too. Let's see. Do you remember something about range of indexes? It's not going to return the one on index number three. Do you still remember all this?
I do.
And we can also We can also do negative indexing too. If you can't remember, you can probably make reference to the notebook, like to the lecture of that day to check. So we can also check if an item exists. So we can say if um, if name in my list print yes. Um, Wait. Yes, I found it. So we can also write else for it in such a way that if it does not find it, you to tell you that oh I didn't find it. Can you see this is what I'm saying now? That you get to use all of them together as time goes on. And also you can change the elements now. That this is why I didn't cover examples under like the changeable feature of a list now. Like how do you change an element? You call the index number. We can say the 12 is the one in like take for instance, this is the name of a person, this is their age, this is whether they've paid school fees or not. True. And this is maybe what can I call this? Just another variable. Now I want to change this person, I want to change their age to 15 now. Like the person that recorded it was wrong. How do we just have to leave it like that? No, we can change it. We can say the first thing we need to do is get the index number of this. This is one. So we say my list one, right? You see that when I'm doing my indexing, I'm using square bracket. Please pay attention. We just say equals to 15. And now if we print my list again, now the age is now 15. So and in that order, in that with that format, you can change any element. And you can also change the range of elements. Just that you have to specify the same number. Say we found out that the person is actually 17 and they've not paid school fees. So that was going to be false. So we'll just do 17, comma, false. So when I say my list again now, I see that it has changed again. Does it make any sense?
Yes. I, I have a question. Can I ask now? To
Yes,
just
yes.
chill. To
No, no,
have
no, no. Ask a question. Please ask a question.
to like assign a value to one particular item on the list. Let's say as we have name 15 through and 17.5. Let's assume they are all strings.
Yes.
And we want to like okay maybe at another list or probably I want to ask now, how do we assign values to those strings? Like when you call them, you bring the particular value that you've assigned to them.
I didn't get that question.
Okay, let's say we have dog, we have cat, we have pig, we have a goat in a list now. And you want
Yes.
to say, okay, you sell the dog 10 naira, you sell the pig. You have a value, you have values for each of those animals, and you want to call dog, calling dog to tell you this is the value for dog. Can we do that?
Yes, 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 but not with list. You use dictionary for that. That's what they call key and value. So the key will be dog, then the value of it will be the amount you sell it. Do you get it?
I get it. Okay.
Yeah, you that's what you use dictionary for. It has dictionaries are always in two. Do you get it? There is value and there is key. You see this one now, you cannot really tell that, oh, this is what it is all about, like the name, the age, whether the person has paid school fees. But in dictionary, you can make it like, okay, name, Muiz, age 17, paid school fees, true. Whatever it is that we're using 17.5 for, then you assign 17.5 to. Do you get it now?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, that's nice. And you can also insert a new item in a list.
Can you repeat that? I did not get you. Probably my network.
You can insert a new item. You can insert a new item to a list. You can use dot insert. So you can just say my list dot insert, and the first thing you do is specify what position do you want to put it. There is difference between inserting and adding. Python understands the difference. If you are adding, Python will automatically put it at the back for you. But if you are inserting, you have to specify the index, like the position you want to put it. I don't know if you get the difference between the two. If you are inserting something, you are putting it in a particular position. But when we are adding it, you don't care whether it's at the back or at the front. You are just adding it. So that's different between inserting and adding. Like we are going to cover adding elements after immediately after this, like after the insert. But I just want us to get the difference. So the first thing you have to do is specify your index number and specify what you want to put there. So if you print my list now, I see that it actually inserted it after this is 0, 1. Now this is index 2, and which used to be false before. So if we do this now, it's going to return miss instead of false. And we realize that here it was actually true or false that was there before. Now adding an element now, we use dot append. So we can say my list dot append. So all you just have to do is specify what you want to add. Say tiger. If you print my list now, it's going to be at the back. At the back. Do we get the difference between insert and add now?
Yes.
Then you can also extend a list. You can extend a list. We can extend a list. When you extend a list, you are joining another list. We have this list before of animal. You can extend it, like you can we have let me bring them together. Where is that list? This is a list, and also this one, my list. So if I want to merge these two lists together now, Python has a function I can use, which is extend. So now There's something you need to understand with extend now. The one that you want to put in front, the one that you want to put in front, like if I'm going to put these two lists together, one list would have to be in front. So the one that you want to put in front, you specify it. Say I want to put animal dot extend. Now I'll not put into bracket the one that I want to put that I want to like join with it. So it's going to be my list. If I now print, if I print my list now, do you see that nothing has changed? It's still the same my list that we have. But if I print animal, hence the animal is now longer. It is we added my list to animal. We didn't add animal to my list. So if you want to do that now, you have to do my list dot extend, then put animal in brackets. Do you get the difference?
Yeah, I do.
I'm glad. And you can also add another like tuple. You can add tuple, adding tuple to a list. You can add tuple to a list. Say we have our tuple. Say my tuple. My tuple equals to 17 comma 20. This is a tuple. So we can extend it. We can just say animal dot extend, then put in brackets my tuple. If you check animal now, see is like the 17 and 20 has been added. So the same way we can add, we can also remove. And there are ways of removing. You can remove a specific item. You can remove a specific item. So what you just if you want to remove, say you want to remove Muiz now, how do you do it? You just say animal dot remove. Then specify what you want to remove in bracket. Okay, sorry, I have to comment this out. So if I check animal now, since that Muiz is no longer there, you can remove moving a specific index. Removing a specific index. So if you want to remove a specific index, you use what we call pop function. So an example would be animal dot pop, and inside that one you have to put the index that you want to say index number 2. That means name will be gone. So yes, it's going to return what it has removed. So if you check animal again now, name is no longer there. Then what happen if I don't specify like this index? It's going to remove the last element. I see removed 20. Then you can also use delete to remove specific to remove the index too. You can say delete index, the one at index number 2. So it's going to remove 17 like that. Oh, sorry, I didn't specify the name. Sorry, animal. So if I check animal now, 17 is no longer there. Then you can also clear a list. You can completely delete the list by using the word dot clear. Though I'm not going to give an example for that. It's just going to delete the list completely, such that there will be nothing inside it. Because but I don't want to delete the list. Or let me just use the one of my list, for example. So if I do my list now, I see that there's nothing there again. I've cleared all the elements, but I didn't delete it from the computer memory. It just cleared all the elements of the list. Now we can look through a list. We can use our for loop. We can say, like basically when you say looping through a list, you can also look through a list by referring to their index number. This is what I'm trying to say. You can say for item, sorry, for item in animal, print item. See, it's going to print them. So you can decide to make your like design your print statement or make it do something else, not necessarily print them. You can make your output more of okay, calculate the number like return okay, print len item to return an error. Like true or false value don't have length function. Okay, let me just do let me but you get what I'm trying to do? Like you can customize it. Just print item alone, Jare. You can customize your print statement. And also, like I was saying, that you can loop through with an index. So basically, what I'm saying is you can say, oh, length of animal. And say for I, that's for integer, like any integer or something, but basically they use I most of the times. In range, length. Who can explain this for me? Like, let me see. Who can explain this? Like, what does this mean? What this line of code? What does it mean? Anyone wants to try? Oh, shit. What's my third? Sorry, I didn't know. Like, I lost my network. Like, I've been explaining. Please, where did I lose you? Yeah, thank you very much. I didn't know that I lost my. Please, what was the last thing you heard from me? Extending lists. What about all this deleting dice? All this delete. Oh my god! I've really gone so far. Shit! Like, see what I've covered. This is the extent. Like, I've covered like four topics, like four subtopics. I mean, God, God is good. Damn. Okay, basically, this is it. Like, you got it up to this extent. Oh, that's pathetic. Honestly, I've gone so far, and I didn't even know. So I'm glad that I got up. Good evening. I don't get that. Okay, so as I was saying, when you want to extend the list, the one that you want to add the list has to be in front. The, yes, and the other one will be at the back. So here now, if you print my list now, it's still going to be the same thing as the original list. Ah, please, can this person get muted? I'm getting an echo. Okay, I guess the person is muted. And I also said we can add tuple to a list. It's the only list. So I define this tuple, my tuple to be 17 and 20. Now I said animal dot extend my tuple. So you can extend a tuple. So looking at the new animal now, it's going to include 17 and 20. Then now I said you can remove how do we remove? Like the same way we can add and insert, we can also remove. Now we have removing and we have like removing in form of an insert too. When you remove, you are removing a particular element. Take for instance, now if I want to remove Muiz from the list, now that's easy. Like I'll just put animal dot to remove, then I'll pass Muiz into it. Then if I want to remove a specific index, say I want to remove the third element, that's going to be index number 2. So I'll use dot pop. So that's going to be animal dot pop, which is I'm going to specify the index in the parentheses. Then if I do not specify the index, it's going to remove the last one. And I said I can achieve the same thing through delete. So it's going to be animal, then like delete animal, then second one. So also we can clear a list. Then I said my list dot clear and that. Now I said we can actually loop through a list. Okay, I just want to. Oh, you raised your hand, Ibrahim. No, 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 no. You can't put index. You can't put index for remove. Okay. So now looping through a list, I say you can loop through the items for a you can loop through the items in a particular list. So I did this. I said for item in animal, that is for every item in animal that it should print it. And even here, I was even trying to play around. That I was trying to write some codes like okay, that for your print statement, you can decide to do some other things with it. Before I now change it back to okay, print item. I didn't know that I was with myself. That's painful. Yeah, but yeah, I was just trying to say, oh, I actually wrote this line of code, and I was like, who can explain? So when nobody answered, then that's when I decided to come and check that. Oh, let me call out two people, only for me to find out that damn, I've been on my own. So now this is looping through or a normal looping through. Now we can also loop through the index. So that's why I said you can use the range function combined with the length function. Now, one what we did here is we said for I in range, like the length of animal. So who can explain it? You are not going to escape the question. Who can explain this part? This line of code. Okay. I get your point. Yeah, and it's actually correct. It's going to do the same thing as what is up. So it's just a complex way of getting things done. It's your print statement that will differ if you are printing more than that. So it's just going to return the same thing. So I think we should stop here for tonight because I feel like we've covered a whole lot tonight. Or what do we think? Though we still have a lot to cover on that list. We still have a whole lot to cover on that list. But then I don't want to just cover speed. I want to cover understanding. So like I don't want to sacrifice your understanding because of my speed. Okay. It's more like you're asking me to give you okay, more like hints for the assignment, how to go about it, right? Okay, let me try to get the assignment question. Fine. I'm more than happy to do that. Mhm, mhm, mhm. So So they said create a program that displays your name and complete mailing address formatted in the manner that you would see it in the outside of an envelope. Your program does not need to read an input from the user. So basically what this one is telling you is just set a variable to your name, then set a variable to your mailing address. Do you get it? Then you go online and see, okay, how does it look like in front of an envelope? Then you use the format function to make it look like that in such a way that when you print it, it's going to look like that. Do you understand the first one? Nobody's answering me. Okay, the second one, they said write a program that asks the user to enter his or her name. That means you are going to use an input function and it's going to ask them to enter their name. Then the program should respond with a message that says hello to the user using his or her name. I think I've done something like this in class F. That you just say welcome, hello, then comma the name. So and it's going to that's going to work. Now the third one, they said write a program that asks the user to enter the width and length of a room. So that means you are taking two variables. The first one will be the length, the second one will be the width, or either way if you want to specify width or length, anyone that comes first. And once the value has been read, your program should be complete and display the area. So you would have a program that like you write a code that displays the area, which is length and breadth, then the length and the width will be entered as floating point number. That means you have to convert it to float whenever it's instead of putting integer in front, it's going to be float, which includes the unit in your prompt and output message, either feet or meter, depending on which unit you are much more comfortable working with. So that one too is clear now. And make sure that when you are done writing it, it has to bring the area of the room is 17.5, then it has to bring the unit meters. Can I go to the fourth question like that? Yeah, the fourth one, they said create a program that reads the length and width of a farmer's field from the user in feet. So you ask for the length, okay, how many like what's the length of your farm, what's the width of your farm, and specify there that they should input it in feet, not in meter. Then display the area of the field in acres. So now you have to convert it to acre, and they give you the 43,560 square feet equals to an acre. So basically, whatever they give you, you divide it by 43,560. Take for instance, somebody says, "Oh, the length is 1,000 feet. The breadth is 100 feet. That's going to be 100,000 um square feet. Then you divide it by 43,560. I've even given you the answer to that one, which should not be. So they say in any jurisdiction, a small deposit is added to a drink container to ensure. So this one basically what they are trying to make you do is they said in many jurisdictions, like in many areas, a small deposit is added to drink containers to encourage people to recycle them. So basically, if you bring back the can of a drink that you bought, you get a particular amount of money. Oh, sorry, like the same way that when you want to go and buy all these bottled like normal bottle that you want to go and buy, they will retain a percentage of your change. That's what they are trying to say. Such that when you bring it back, I think they used to call it Owego or something. So if you say the drink is 150, like you might have to drop like 200 naira. So when you bring back the bottle, you collect your change. They now say drink containing containers holding 1 liter or less, like it's going to be $0.1 that will be the retaining amount, and the drinks that are higher than that. Hope I've not lost you guys. Yeah, if it is more than 1 liter, they will charge 0.25 deposit. So you have to write a program that reads the number of container of each size from the user. Do you get it? So you have to enter a code. You have to get a code that enters the number that reads the number of how many 1 liter or less you have, or how many 1 meter or 1 liter or more. Oh, sorry, how many more than 1 liter you have. So, and you should be able to combine them together and tell the person how much deposit they have to make. Do we get that? So the sixth one, they said the program that you create for this exercise will begin by reading the cost of a meal at the restaurant from the user. So you ask the user, okay, how much is the meal? Then your program will compute the tax and tip for the meal. They now say use your local rate when computing the amount of tax owing. Compute the tip as 18% of the. So you are the one that will come up with how much tax do you want to charge them. It can be 5%. So if somebody is buying a food of 5,000, that means they'll be paying a tax of 5% of it or 10% of it, which is 500, and a tip of 18%. So they now said, and the grand total for the meal, including the tax and the tip. So what you have to do is add the tax, the tip, and the cost of the meal together. Then format the output so that all the values are displayed using two decimal places. So now you can do let me quickly explain how to do two decimal places. You see what I mean by so why I said you need to solve problems. So this is just how to do it. If you have more than that, you just use the round function. Do you get it? I can say 100, 1,000 times 4, 5, 6. Then you put this is the figure that I want to round. Then you put the number of decimal places that you want to put to. You can see that it has returned it to 0.23, 1,000.23. So that's how to return to decimal places. Then the seventh one, I've explained it yesterday. The eighth one, they said the amount of energy required to increase the temperature. Am I supposed to even try to explain everything? I think I've tried. Yes, but then I'm giving out this example, this assessment, so that we can actually build our progress on how to look for answer, how to think, how to understand questions. So if I'm kind of giving hints and how to go about it, it's more like I'm defeating a path of what the assessment is meant to test. Now the seven I've explained, you kind of know how to go about them already and what is expected. So let me leave the remaining three to you guys to decode yourself. So expect an assignment tomorrow that will test everything we've done. Okay. All right. So is there anyone with question? I want to stop recording.